couldn't finish watching it, but I just don't know how anybody can do that. She just wanted somebody to just love her the way she loved, and she never found that. Know your worth more than this. I love you, Janice, and I will always remember the special friendship that we had.
On April 20th, 2022, Earl Lee Johnson appeared on a Facebook Live with a woman who many people believe to be Janice David. Authorities now claim that Earl attacked, stabbed, and choked his girlfriend while people were watching, and while doing so, he set his phone down on a dashboard. When the police arrived, she had already passed away. Before we begin this video, we would like to express our deepest sympathies to the family and friends who were severely affected by this horrible crime. We would also like to send condolences to Janice's family and friends. Today's video takes us to Baton Rouge. The name Baton Rouge, which translates to Red Stick in French, is also the name of the city and the state capital of Louisiana in the United States. It is the parish capital of East Baton Rouge Parish, the most populous parish in Louisiana and the equivalent of counties in other states. It is situated on the eastern bank of the Mississippi River. It has been Louisiana's second largest city after New Orleans since 2020. Baton Rouge is the state's capital with the 18th highest population. The city proper has a population of 227,470, while its combined population was 456,781 at the same time. The lifestyle in Baton Rouge is one of thriving culture, world-class cuisine, and cutting-edge businesses. The region develops more slowly, but offers the opportunities of a thriving cultural hub thanks to year-round pleasant weather and a fantastic Mississippi River position. Music is essential to Louisianans' lives.
Yeah, you think I went on live for the play and spit?
He choked her, he beat her, and he stabbed her. And then from there, he tried to set the car on fire.
Janice Mary David was born on the 3rd of November, 1987, to her mother Melinda and father Ronnie David. She was one of 3 children. She left behind her 2 sisters named Heather and Rebecca and her brother Ronnie David Jr. Janice was born in Port Allen, but she lived in Baton Rouge. The people that knew her described her as someone that was very kind and compassionate. Janice worked at a local Domino's Pizza, so around this time Janice was struggling with substance addiction. She wanted to stop taking substances so she could live a better life and healthy lifestyle. According to her family and friends, they were there to support her all the way. In April 2022, a disturbing Facebook Live video that had 200 viewers was reported to the Baton Rouge police. Earl and Janice appeared in the BMW 5 Series near the intersection of South Sherwood Forest Boulevard and Newcastle Avenue, live streaming while they were seated inside the vehicle. In the open, Janice had been restrained. It was discovered the couple had been on a drug spree for a few days before the incident. Earl had his phone on the dashboard. Earl was going mad as he began speaking erratically. He was saying something about some of his belongings being stolen, but you couldn't understand what he was saying. On the driver's side was Janice David. She was breathing heavily and her hands were bound together with jumper cables. Earl was punching, choking, and stabbing Janice live on Facebook while she was pleading with him to stop. In some instances, the footage showed Earl violently hitting Janice with a metal bar and stabbing her several times. The video kept playing for a few minutes before someone reported it to Facebook, which then removed it and alerted the authorities. However, the video didn't initially receive much notice on social media. Instead, it was only when individuals started to screen record the incident that Facebook removed the video after users flagged the live stream. On the social media platform, there's currently 2 minutes of that video. Since Earl and Janice were missing, the police were attempting to locate them. A BMW was nearby and was parked in an empty lot when someone called the police to report Earl's attempt to set the vehicle on fire. A woman's body was found inside a car. The horrifying finding was made by the police when they arrived at the scene. Janice's body was found inside the vehicle with many stab wounds. Janice was found naked and tied to the steering wheel. When the police connected the dots at that point, they started looking for Earl. Janice had been assaulted, suffocated, and stabbed anywhere between 50 and 70 times. When that happened, the police started searching for their suspect. Earl was interviewed by police once they had their main suspect in custody, and according to the authorities, he promptly admitted to all the charges against him, including that he had killed Janice. Earl was ultimately located by police. After stealing a car, he led the police on another fast-paced pursuit. He was only charged with theft of a motor vehicle because the owner of the vehicle caught him in the act, reported him to the police, and then sped away as they pursued him. In this period, police were unaware of his actions. Police eventually realized it was the person they were looking for.
Well, today in Baton Rouge, a preliminary autopsy for the woman whose stabbing was live streamed on social media Monday night says the cause of death was a homicide.
It says that smoke inhalation was secondary to the actual cause of death since the car she was in was set on fire. The body of 34-year-old Janice David was found by Baton Rouge police on South Sherwood Forest Boulevard. It came after her death was live streamed on Facebook or Instagram for about 15 minutes. The alleged killer, Earl Lee Johnson Jr., is currently facing a first-degree murder charge. He's being held at the parish prison without bond. A memorial service was held earlier today for the victim. People there say they want to see justice for David's death, but they also want the attention to be focused away from the killer.
In January 2022, Earl had just served a 15-year sentence for a totally unrelated offense. Earl was arrested in 2005 on many counts of armed robbery, and the police discovered that he had a violent past. He had recently been released from prison about 90 days before he allegedly confessed to this horrific crime. Earl is back in jail, and it appears he never learned his lesson because it was discovered he continued to commit crimes, including robberies and drug use. He even made mention of it on his social media platforms. The reason Earl hurt Janice remained a mystery, but it is thought that day that he was under the influence of narcotics. Unfortunately, the reason for the conduct is still unknown, although authorities suspect it had something to do with Janice stealing substances or money based on babbling in the video. Janice was choked and beaten for nearly 15 minutes after muttering her assent when she was accused. She was tortured and killed in front of a large audience on Facebook Live by the person she loved and cared about. Earl Lee Johnson is currently being held without bond. If convicted, he faces up to 30 years to life in prison. Another clip surfaced where Earl said he was going to cut someone, basically threatening them. We're not really sure if it was jealous rage that he went on, or that this is what he did to the poor lady, considering he said on this video, quote, "You was out with this man, you've been laying with him all night, and he was also saying I will cut you. It's like he was saying you ain't got no data and your phone is off since you've been laying with this man, you've been with this guy all night." Earl regularly shared live videos on illogical topics and boasted about his bad behavior. He was a convicted felon with charges, a list of what he had done, and was therefore accustomed to the legal system and prison. Johnson, who was sweating and shirtless in the passenger seat of a BMW, accuses Miss David, who was breathing heavily next to him in the driver's seat, of stealing his things and stealing his narcotics by jumping out of the car. After checking at the cell phone camera and continuing his tirade, the suspect stabbed Janice in the leg with a knife. Earl had no remorse of his actions as he is seen smiling while escorted by law enforcement. His actions left hundreds of people traumatized and in disbelief. May Janice's family find comfort in knowing that Earl Lee Johnson may never leave prison. If you like this type of content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the following video.